doing entries to the back, specifically this week, from side control. What I'm going to have happen here is he's going to be on the bottom of side control with his arm where we want it. We, the pros, want our arm in the far armpit, and he's going to turn onto his side, and he's going to really reach, boom, and create this space here. This is the space here between his elbow and his side that I'm going to put my elbow in. Okay? So that's step one. Step one, I'm going to put my elbow in here. I'm going to step to 12 o'clock, basically over his head. And that means that I'm going to be able to put my knee down on the other side of his head. From there, I'm going to back step to here. Okay? You notice that I'm not still on top of him, which I kind of was when I rotated. I let myself fall off to be behind him. And that's the first slice that we're gonna focus on here. So he's got his arm where it goes. He's gonna do it. Turn on his side and really commit to reaching. Yes. I put my elbow here. I step to 12 or 1 o'clock over here. Not too deep. I don't want to step here because it's my knee that I'm gonna pivot on. So I put my knee down and I rotate back. And you see I'm in this sort of running man position, and my chest is free. It's not occupied with him. My chest is free. And I'm going to be putting my chest against his back in the next step. The next step is to switch from me being on my left hip to me being on the outside of my right knee. So from right where my hip is, I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to connect my harness. I'm going to go right here. So this is the next place I'm going to be. I was kind of running man that way. Now I'm kind of running man this way. And I finished putting together my harness because this hand was here. I was kind of here. So I'm going to switch. And now I'm kind of running man facing him. But although this leg is kind of along his back here. So I connect my harness and I give him a hug. Step over. And then I'm going to fall, not directly toward his feet, but kind of toward his heels. So I'm going to fall this way and put my second hook in here. And you don't want to cross your feet, just 1 foot for each leg. I've got the arm that's over his shoulder is stabbing him in the chest. The one that's underneath is holding the hilt. This is always our position on the back. 2 hooks and 1 harness, where the over is stabbing him in the chest and the under is holding the hilt. He turns on his side. I'm going to back step. Here's my under, and I got to put this over in. So I'm going to do it when I switch my legs to here. From here, I'm going to step over him to like a modified mount. And the direction I fall is not toward his feet, because I obviously can't get him to go over his feet, but sort of toward his heels, like just past his feet over here. I fall this way. And then I'm trying to get 2 hooks and 1 harness. The harness should have the over stabbing him in the heart, the under holding the hilt. My fingers point down. So not like this, but like this. First half, right here, you guys did. I step over, back step, and now this switch from my left hip to my right kind of knee goes like this. Right. Now step over, and fall toward his heels. Put my second hook in here. Boop, boop. Collar choke from the back. It's the one that we're going to be able to do at the end of the series that we just did. So I'm going to do it from a kind of a neutral back position. He's just sitting. I'm sitting behind him. I have my hooks in. I'm going to put my harness in, and that's going to be, again, the over stabs him in the heart. The under holds the hilt. Okay. Always, the over is the choking hand. This is the one that's going to do a rear naked, right? And this is the one that's going to do this collar choke most of the work. And that makes the other hand the helper. Okay. So from here, the helper, first thing helper is going to do is flip this collar over. Okay. So I just open it. I just flip it over. Now the choking hand's going to set up the choke. I'll put my thumb inside and grab with 2 fingers, but I can pull the slack out as well. So the helper hand opens it and pulls the slack out. And then the helper hand is going to grab the other lapel, pull down. That just takes any slack that's left over on this side out. And this hand I can retract the elbow and sort of cast my wrist doing this like you would with a fishing reel. Okay, so I was here. we start with the helper hand. It's going to turn this over. I can stick my thumb in and grab with 2 fingers, but this helper hand can help me by pulling out the slack. I can't tell you how much of a difference that makes versus this. This is not choking him at all, and this is really going to choke him. So take that slack out, then grab the other lapel, and the other lapel I pull straight down while I retract my elbow here, and I cast my wrist like this. The material is something for my hand to hold on to while my wrist bone juts into his carotid. It's easy not to think about the back when you're in side mount because his back is covered in floor, right? I mean, his back is completely protected right now. We took advantage of the fact that when he turns toward me, there's an exposure. We might not have thought it was an exposure because it's like all the way on the other side. But now we have like a pretty efficient way to move around a person, especially a person who like really commits to getting on his side. We have this beautiful back step to get in here, and now I can take his back here. And that's the first move we did. Takes advantage of a far back exposure. And if we can take the back with an exposure like that far from us, then it must be easy to take the back when he rolls away from me, because when he rolls away from me, well, here's his back, it's right here. Most people who know jiu-jitsu turn toward you because they're doing escapes that they're supposed to do, which is like mostly to turn toward me. But there is an escape that a lot of people do, especially with a wrestling background, but a lot of people will do it, which is to roll away to turtle. Yes. Okay. Yeah. And that was the perfect movement. That's exactly what they'll do. He'll kind of like straighten this leg to make it efficient, but he will roll over, come up to turtle. Yeah. Okay. And that's the escape that sometimes people are trying when we get to do the move that I'm going to show you right now. So if you freeze right now I see his back. But I don't have a way to put in the hook I want to put in first. The hook I want to put in first is my near hook. Right? So if he goes all the way to turtle, you'll see how it's tempting to put this hook in first because it seems like the easier thing to do. I see a big space over here, and frankly, when he's on his way up, it's the first space I see. But actually, if I do that, so you go to turtle, if I do this, boom, all he has to do is raise his butt up real high, like tripod up, and I might get rocked off because I have not put in both hooks, and it's just not a secure position yet. So the hook to put in first is the near hook. The time to put in the near hook is as soon as I have a space to do it. So let's look real quick at when that time is. So if he straightens that leg and he rolls over, it's right now. Right now. It's as soon as his hip leaves the ground. Okay? So that's when. The time to do it is, we're in side mount, he rolls away. The time is now. Now something fits. So then it's just, we know when to do it, and that's just a matter of how to do it, how to get my leg in there. And the best way to do that is when he's going, I'm going to post my opposite hand and foot back here, like for standing up in base, because that allows me to lift my knee up and insert my hook. Up, and then I put it right in here. And I've got that near hook. He rolls away, I post, and insert it right here. Having inserted it, the easier way to take his back is to look for his lapel right here. There's a lapel right under his far armpit here that I can grab. I don't have to grab this lapel. I'm going to grab this one. Grab this, and I'm going to fall away a little bit at an upward angle, fall away from him, and take his back this way. And I actually have the ability, once I've pulled myself to his back, to feed the over. Actually, this is the over. The choke, and I'm already close on a choke. I just need to finish here. He rolls away. As soon as he leaves the ground, I insert this hook. I'm going to grab his collar here, and then I'm going to sit back and pull him onto me at sort of an upward angle. Now, because I reached across him and under his armpit to get this lapel, you know which one the under is. This one's the under. So this one's the over. So this comes over his shoulder, and I can feed this to this hand right now and have a nice deep grip. So I'm taking the slack out, drawing a big circle to wrap it here, and now I've got this lapel here. I've got a nice tight choke right off the bat. Now, if I'm on the over side, see how we're on our side, and it's the side where my arm is over his shoulder, I can feed this perfectly, and I can pull this down, but I can't retract my elbow because the floor is in the way. There's a big gap here that I can't close. I mean, structurally, I just would need another elbow here. Then I can't do it. If that ever happens to you and there's this big space here, what we do is take my top hook out and kick it down to help me sit up to my left elbow, letting nothing go. So I'm going to sit up to here. You see how I can now choke him. I've closed the problem gap. So if you're ever on your side, on the over side, and you've set this choke up, you're going to find that it's hard to finish. Unless you can close this space by retracting my elbow in a way that I can't on my side, but I can once we pop up.